Meet KeySteps, the app that guides you through every step of your homeownership journey, no matter where you're starting from or where you're at now. And the best part, it's completely free. With KeySteps, you can monitor your credit score and credit report, and even simulate changes to see how they could impact your future home purchase. The Homeownership Snapshot provides a personalized mortgage readiness assessment along with a dynamic action plan to guide you every step of the way. Enrolling financial accounts allows you to track your net worth, savings, and spending with ease and get a clear picture of your financial health. Search for your dream home, favorite the ones you love, and see how they fit into your financial picture, all within the app. Need expert advice? With KeySteps, you're always connected to your loan officer. Reach out anytime, right through the app. Plus, dive into a wealth of educational content to help you make informed financial decisions, and rest assured your data is safe and secure and never shared without your permission. KeySteps, because your journey to homeownership deserves the best tools, and they're all right here.
Is our non-enterprise version of our financial fitness and homeownership app. That was a quick overview of the consumer experience in the native mobile app. And what I'm going to do now is show you the web experience, and then talk about a couple of specific use cases. So first things first, on the screen, this is what each loan officer that gets set up as a user of KeySteps is set up with an account, and we create a unique link. You see that tiny URL link, and then they're also creating this QR code. That QR code and that link drives the consumer into the KeySteps experience, where we engage the consumer. Now, before I go into the KeySteps app, let me just level set on the our overall thesis at FinLocker with respect to how we help home buyers and lenders alike. So one thing that you'll hear us talk a lot about is driving for financial confidence and transparency. And we do that today. Our product does it within the context of the homeownership experience. For today's presentation, I'm going to focus on the home buying journey, and specifically focus on what we call an early journey first-time home buyer. So that's somebody that's 6, 9, 12 plus months from being ready to buy. What the app does for those consumers is helps them understand where they stand today with respect to being ready to buy and ready to borrow. And we help them create a plan for buying, and we guide them through each step and stage of that plan. We do this across a combination of consumer contributed and direct source consumer permission validated data. And when we talk about direct guidance, that's the loan officer in our experience. We always have the loan officer front and center in the experience. For our lenders, it's all about driving certainty and helping them be able to scale and nurture a bigger lead pipeline of folks that are earlier in their process. And we talk about this concept of cultivating questions into closing. So consumer clicks that or scans that QR code on the prior screen. They're invited to the app, and we ask every user where they are in their journey. And this is how we set the persona of the user. Our platform is a persona-based infrastructure. So based on the persona of the user, we have 5 personas today. Just getting started is 3, 6, 9, 12 plus months up funnel. Qualifying as a consumer who's inside of 90 days. So we have loan officers that regularly use the product to nurture and stay sticky with their pre-approvals and pre-qualified consumers. We have a hit a challenge, kind of a turn down use case. Ready is just what it sounds like. I'm ready now. And then not looking is like a past client that I would want to incubate and engage in this app. But for today's presentation, we're going to focus mostly on this just getting started use case. After we've determined the persona, we ask another question around what the goals are for the user, so they can answer as many of these as they'd like. This information helps us start to frame how the app is going to engage the user, including the timing of their planned purchase. And then, is this your first home, your next home, et cetera. Again, all this information helps us to frame how the app is going to ultimately engage the user. And then next, we guide the consumer into the financial readiness portion of the experience by asking a couple simple questions. What's your income, your credit score? How much debt do you have outside of housing? And what best describes your employment? We also ask for how much money they've saved so far for down payment and closing costs. And then we use this concept of a slider bar for someone to tell us how much they want their housing payment to be, to eat into their income, right? So, they could be at low end of it all the way to the very high end. And then this feeds into the last couple of questions, which go into our readiness snapshot. So there, they land here. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is flip over to the demo and log in as a consumer. So now we're logging into the web experience. As the consumer, I've already done my onboarding. I've answered my questions. I'm a early journey, just getting started consumer. And the first thing we do is we take the consumer to their mortgage readiness. And so based on those inputs in those prior screens, we're going to let the consumer know what their maximum affordability would be. And then based on their target purchase price, now in this case, their purchase price is over their affordability. So I'm going to tweak this and call this 275,000. That'll be my target purchase price. And so now the readiness is going to run off of this target home purchase price. We have an integration with Optimal Blue. We bring in the 30-year fixed index rate every day. You can see based on our initial setup, I've said I'm going to put 5% down. I'm comfortable with my payment in this kind of affordable range. And then additionally, just showing you where we collected information on their income, their other debts. And then I want to show you guys how we actually connect the consumer to their direct sourced validated data. So I manually input a 600 credit score before we before I started the demo, but the app is telling me that there's a score already linked in here of 809. Do I want to use this? Yes, I do. And then it's also telling me, because I also manually put in 41,000 for savings, and the app is telling me that there's a bank account with $14,318. Do I want to use that? Yes, I do. In both of these cases, and now you'll see the assessments rerunning the analysis on these new inputs. But you see these green verified check marks indicate that our user, our consumer, has linked directly to their credit and at least one bank account in the app. And I'll show you in another spot how we do the same for employment and income information. But this readiness experience is really the guts, if you will, of the experience. And our user has 3 out of 4 stars. We assess a consumer's readiness on 4 dimensions. How much money have you saved for your down payment relative to the goal you set for down payment? Your income and employment, your credit score, we use 640 as a proxy for readiness. And then finally, we calculate DTI, and we use 45% as a proxy for readiness on DTI. And then in this case, we're at 3 out of 4 stars. So we take the user to the our action plan, which is down here. The action plan drives the user to different tools in the app that are going to help them. So in this case, this is going to take me to my budgets and goals, where I can set a goal to save for my down payment and track my savings against my goal, linked to one or more bank accounts that I've connected in the app itself. So we engage the consumer using their readiness and then drive them to the tools that are most helpful. So I'm going to go fast here. In the intro video that we showed you with the consumer, we talked about the credit widget, the credit tools. Consumers are prompted to connect their credit. Once they've connected their credit in the app, the score updates every 7 days. Behind the credit score itself is a visualization of all the credit data, including how the score impacts the consumer's prospective interest rate. We overlay the Fannie Freddie LLPA grid here. And then we visualize the factors that impact credit score, like payment history and utilization. So here's an example of how we see the total credit limit for this consumer of $90,000. Their current balances are $7,100. So Total utilization's at 8%, which has been optimized and maximizes their credit score. They see their utilization by each account as well. Okay, so the next set of tools in credit is our credit compass. Here I can set a goal for a credit score. I'm going to set a target of 820. The app is now going to give me some recommendations of what I should do over the next 6 to 12 months to go from an 809 to an 820. The other tool that we use here is our credit simulator. The credit simulator allows the user, the consumer, to model actions that they might take on their credit and how those actions would impact their score. I just modeled the action of reducing credit card balances by $20,000. And you could see that the algorithm told me that that action would result in an increase in credit score of 10 points. I can also model the impact of opening new credit accounts, getting a new loan, closing accounts, transferring balances, changing my balances, paying down, raising limits, lowering limits, etc. Even the inverse of letting accounts go into a delinquent status. So let's just say for sake of argument that I let all my accounts go 60 days delinquent and I run the simulation, the algorithm is going to tell me that letting all my accounts go 60 days delinquent would degrade my score by 208 points. So it's a great tool for users to understand impacts of actions that they may take relative to their credit. The next set of features for the user is in our financial accounts widget. This is the personal finance view for a consumer to see their personal net worth and other financial items in a single pane of glass view. This is powered by the consumer linking to financial accounts, both assets and liabilities. So checking, savings, investment, 401k, IRA, life insurance policies on the asset side, personal loans, charge cards, gas cards, student loans, auto loans, home mortgage loans, et cetera, on the liability side. And then behind these linked accounts is all the spending analysis. And so I can look at my spending in a current month by category. I can look at it over a 3-month period. I can even drill down and see just my food and dining in the current view. So tons of data for the consumer based on them linking to their credit card accounts or checking accounts and other spending accounts that they have. The next set of direct source data involves consumers that already own a home. They can link that property in the app. We bring in an AVM. The AVM updates every 30 days. And then what's different about this valuation experience than other products like HomeBot, HomeIQ is that we're not calculating the estimated equity by looking at a recorded mortgage deed of trust and then backing into a reverse amortization to get to an expected mortgage balance. We actually prompt the user in the app to connect directly to their mortgage account. And so if a payment posted yesterday on the mortgage account, this balance owed would be updated today, and that estimated equity would be the most accurate view of estimated equity based on that current outstanding balance. And then what's also different here is users can track multiple properties. So we have a primary, they can have an investment home, multiple investment homes, second homes, vacation homes. Users can track up to 20 unique properties. And then what happens is the net equity in all of those real estate properties roll to this front dashboard and ultimately impact their net worth. So pretty cool feature for your clients that own multiple homes, but it's also a great feature for that first-time home buyer. Once they buy their first home and own it, this is how the app stays sticky with the consumer through the transaction and post-close in perpetuity. And then at the bottom of the dashboard is where the team for the consumer is always present. So the loan officer is front and center. The loan officers can partner with agents. The loan officer can have as many agents as they want as partners. Each of these agent LO pairings has its own unique invitation link. So now Chris, the agent, could be making this product available to his database of either leads, prospects at the top of the funnel, or even past clients to stay engaged. And every time they click that link and create an account, they're going to see their team of Chris, the agent, and Brian, the loan officer. They're quickly here on Brian's card as the loan officer. We can open an email thread. We have a link for the loan officer to put their online loan application, so they can flow right from Readiness to click this start your application link. And then finally, the user can schedule time on the loan officer's calendar by clicking this calendar link, which links directly to the loan officer's calendar. So I'm going to scroll back to the top and then show you the next feature, which is our embedded real estate search experience. So users have access to a national real estate search experience. I'm going to put in my zip code here, 48377 in Novi. Actually, I'm going to put in Detroit, Michigan, and show you something here. So we're going to search in Detroit. I have a filter, that your normal filter for price, beds and bath, school district, etc. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a feature and say in the search, I want to see properties that meet my filter, but that have kitchens that need repair. So I'm handy. I want to be able to find a house that has kitchens that need to be remodeled so that I can filter my search and just look for those properties that best match that. So it's going to search all the images of every listing in Detroit that meets my filter and brings back those properties that definitely have kitchens that need repair. So I'll favorite a couple of these properties. So I'll favorite this one on Caddo Road, and then we'll go back into our into the app. And now I'm going to show you my saved properties. So I've saved those two properties. There's the first one on Caddo Street. And so notice now what we do is we overlay where the property fits in the consumer's budget and their estimated payment, leveraging that readiness assessment that I showed you at the onset of this presentation. And now I can look at multiple properties. This is the second property that I favorited. And then here's a few more. So I can scroll down and I can see and compare at my favorited saved properties that I'm tracking and see what the payments and how it would fit into my budget and how those differ. Now what'll happen is, because I favorited this property in the search, if anything changes on this property listing, price goes up, price goes down, the property goes into a pending or closed status, I'll get as a consumer, I'll get an alert immediately to bring me back into the app to see what's changed on that property. So if I go back to our dashboard real quick and hit on a couple of big themes, I've showed you real estate search, national search. I've showed you saved properties and how we overlay financial budgeting and the readiness to that property. I've showed you the credit feature, so including credit education and credit improvement. I've showed you the financial accounts, budgeting, goal setting, spending analysis feature. And so if you think about just those handful of features that I just showed you, those are features that consumers are going to Rocket Money, Credit Karma, and other consumer-facing branded apps today for those features. And now imagine a world where instead of the consumer going to those other apps, you're drawing them into your ecosystem, up funnel, early in their preparation process. And those tools now are at their fingertips. And so instead of them having to go to Zillow, Redfin, and other search sites, and to Rocket Mortgage and Credit Karma and other financial apps, they're using your app and using those tools and staying in your ecosystem. So in effect, this app is putting a moat around your prospects and leads, giving you a better chance to stay engaged and ultimately a better chance at conversion. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Let me go back to the top and show you a couple additional things that are interesting. So we've got this take action now call to action, which for a consumer that is ready to move to the next stage, right, and maybe apply, we actually have a mechanism for that consumer to connect directly to their employment and income platform or portal. So Chris is our borrower, works for a company called Platformtronic. He's connected to his employer's payroll system. And now we have this connection with payroll that brings in Chris's job title, his start date, his pay frequency, his year-to-date income, and then we break down his commissions, bonus, and overtime. So now, guys, if we go back to our dashboard and we think about our readiness assessment, right, that's perpetually running on consumer contributed and consumer permission direct source data, we now have a platform where if a consumer has connected their credit, connected their asset, their bank accounts, and connected to their employer payroll system, all through integrations that are in our app, you now have this consumer directly connected to 4 data sets: assets, credit, income, and employment. These are evergreen connections. So every 7 days, the credit data updates. Every night, the financial account, the bank accounts update with balances and transactional data. Every pay period, the employment and income data updates. And so this is where we talk about certainty, transparency, and confidence. It's because we're leveraging the ability to connect the consumer directly to their data and using that data to then drive this readiness experience combined with consumers' goals and objectives for home ownership to give them more certainty, more clarity, and for you to give you as an originator a better chance at converting these early funnel leads into transactions. Okay, so we've showed you a lot there. While I went through the app, there's a couple notifications that were happening in real time when we were in there. So let me just go back here real quick. I'm going to click this share with lender call to action. There's about a dozen of these throughout the experience that create alerts, direct alerts for the loan officer that's associated with the app. And so I've got a couple here to show you that came over in real time. So here's the first one. When I went into property search and saved a property, the KeySteps app alerted me, the loan officer, Brian, that Chris, my borrower, just did a property save on Tuesday. Property's located in Detroit. And by the way, Chris has saved 81 homes so far. So he's an active shopper. The next alert is that Chris was just reran his readiness assessment, and he's got 3 out of 4 stars. And here's the summary of where Chris is at. His goal is to purchase a home for $275,000. Here's his income, his credit score, his DTI, and his estimated payment. All of this information helps you as the loan officer have more timely, intelligent, impactful conversations with your prospects and leads. And the consumer is connected to you on this app 24/7, 365, with you always a click away to assist them. Okay, let me go back to the main dashboard, make sure I covered everything that I wanted to for this presentation. And let me do one more thing. I'm going to go into the back-end system, the admin portal, where loan officers can log in and see their entire portfolio of consumers inside the FinLocker app, inside of KeySteps. So here's me, Brian, the loan officer. I have 774 users, 85 that came in just this month alone. And here's how the personas of these users breaks out. 44% of those are in that early journey, just getting started persona. And then you can see the balance over here with 5% are actually ready to go right now. And 7% are overcoming a challenge. If I scroll down, I'll see the same breakout of all my users by credit score tranche, also by my star rating, right? So I've got 30% in a 3-star status, 39% in 2 stars, and just under 0.5% with 4 stars ready to go. But this next big group is moving forward towards mortgage readiness. And good news is Elizabeth here just got her 4-star readiness on May 7th. So let's check out what's up with Elizabeth. So here's all the data I can see now on Elizabeth. When she created her account, which was last September, she last logged in on May 20th. So today, she's got 4 properties that she's tracking inside the app. She saved a bunch of properties, and created a filter, a search filter with a price range between 100,000 and 750,000. And she's looking for single family homes. You can see her credit score is 800 to 809. And then the star rating, how often she's run her stars, her readiness assessment. Tons of data here down to the user consumer level that, again, powers you as a loan officer to have more intelligent, timely, impactful conversations with your prospects. So with that, guys, I am going to wrap this up. Hopefully this was helpful for you. We're here to support. If you want to do a one-on-one demo, please reach out. And I got one more feature. This is like the Ginsu knife guy. Sorry. One more feature. So we have a new launch that is going to be live probably by the time you're seeing this presentation. It's called Buyer Vision. Buyer Vision is a feature that essentially creates the ability for the user, the consumer, to share a snapshot of all their pertinent data as it relates to their home buying readiness directly with the loan officer. And this is what it looks like in the admin portal. Loan officer would see an alert that Sarah just shared her Buyer Vision report. You'd click the View Report. As a loan officer, you would then see the consumer's Buyer Vision report. I'll show you this one. It's got you could see it a little bit better. It's got the credit score range, any outstanding real estate financing, any loans. If they've provided their income and employment, that would be here. An analysis of their of their liability accounts by grouping: revolving debt, student loans, auto loans, installment loans, and then any derogatories. So any late payments, any collections, bankruptcies, foreclosures would all be flagged. And then I can see how many times my borrower, Katie, has run this Buyer Vision report. For the consumer, they're directed in the app to link their credit and then share their Buyer Vision summary with their loan officer. This is what it looks like for the consumer. What's cool here, guys, is the consumer is seeing the same financial data, including some of the summary credit data that the loan officer is seeing. And so this is an opportunity. I believe this is an opportunity for loan officers at the top of the funnel to change their process. And what do I mean by that? For argument's sake, let's say loan officers on average are pulling 10 single bureau soft credit pulls each month from leads and prospects that are coming into the sales funnel. And let's also say, for argument's sake, that 5 of those soft credit pulls never turn into a transaction. And then finally, for argument's sake, let's just say it costs me $30 per soft credit pull. So if I'm running 5 credit pulls, soft credit pulls at $30 a pop, and that never close, that's $150 a month gone. I've just spent that. It's gone. I never get it back. Now, let's say, for example, I sign up for KeySteps and I'm on the annual subscription. It's $115 per month for the subscription, which allows me to invite consumers in, as many consumers as I want. It's unlimited for that $115, and I can have as many realtor partners as possible for that $115. And now, instead of ordering those 10 soft pulls at the top of the funnel, maybe I'm only ordering 3 or 4 where I'm really confident that the consumer is ready to go. Their ducks are in order. We know that, based on the conversation and my consultation, their credit's good. But for that 5 or 6 or 7 even that is a little squishy, instead of running a $30 credit pull or a $20 credit pull, I'm going to send them to KeySteps, and then the consumer is going to link their credit and then share the Buyer Vision report with me as a loan officer. And now, at a single glance on the Buyer Vision, I can determine if I need to go order a soft credit pull or not. And so, guys, there's an opportunity here to have the savings, the net savings on running fewer soft credit pulls, be enough to cover the cost of this KeySteps app for you. And so you've got an instant, real-time, day one ROI by trading out expenses you already pay for soft credit pulls with the KeySteps app. That is live now in the app by the time you're seeing this. Again, if you want to go deeper, you want a detailed demo, please reach out to us, finlocker.com. You can grab me on LinkedIn, Brian Vieaux. Happy to go deeper. And I appreciate you checking in today and hope everyone has a great spring.
Meet KeySteps, the app that guides you through every step of your homeownership journey, no matter where you're starting from or where you're at now. And the best part, it's completely free. With KeySteps, you can monitor your credit score and credit report and even simulate changes to see how they could impact your future home purchase. The Homeownership Snapshot provides a personalized mortgage readiness assessment along with a dynamic action plan to guide you every step of the way. Enrolling financial accounts allows you to track your net worth, savings, and spending with ease and get a clear picture of your financial health. Search for your dream home, favorite the ones you love, and see how they fit into your financial picture, all within the app. Need expert advice? With KeySteps, you're always connected to your loan officer. Reach out anytime, right through the app. Plus, dive into a wealth of educational content to help you make informed financial decisions, and rest assured your data is safe and secure and never shared without your permission. KeySteps, because your journey to homeownership deserves the best tools, and they're all right here.